We operate under a deeply held assumption about where knowledge comes from. We believe that truths are discovered inside institutions, laboratories, universities, think tanks, and then handed down from those heights to the rest of us. This stems from a centuries-old concept known as the Cartesian split. It's the assumption that the rational, thinking mind is entirely separate from and superior to the physical body. But if you look closely at recent scientific breakthroughs, a different pattern emerges. Modern mindfulness and embodied cognition didn't start in laboratories. They originated in somatic therapies, dance communities, and countercultural circles decades before researchers began running fMRI scans. The Academy does not actually originate our deepest truths. Instead, it acts as a processing machine. It ratifies and formalizes the insights that the collective culture has already done the heavy lifting to figure out. Recognizing this flips the traditional hierarchy of authority. It proves that genuine discovery begins in our lived physical experiences and nervous systems, long before it ever sees the inside of a peer-reviewed journal. This process of knowledge creation reliably follows a four-step migration. Step 1 is poetic compression. Raw truth begins in the body and is first expressed as a tight, emotionally resonant hook that bypasses logic entirely. You can trace this back to the classical era. The earliest Greek myths weren't philosophical texts. They functioned as ritualistic, sung poetry meant to evoke a physical, communal response. We see the exact same phenomenon today. Modern insights start as concise digital aphorisms that evoke rather than explain. Look at this social media comment. The body knew, the Academy forgot. Now the body is teaching again. That brings us to step 2, public resonance. These compressed, poetic ideas spread wildly across networks because the collective public intuitively feels them to be true, right in their nervous systems. Consider how Eastern Zen concepts first hit the West. They gained massive cultural traction through the beat poetry movement of the 1950s, resonating deeply with readers, completely independent of any scientific validation. This phase demonstrates that widespread cultural resonance is the primary mechanism for recognizing truth. The body validates the insight long before any institution grants it an official stamp of approval. Eventually, an idea reaches a critical mass of public acceptance that forces the academic machine to pay attention and pull the concept indoors. This officially triggers step 3, analytic expansion. The Academy takes the poetic truth, bisects it, and translates those gut feelings into rigid institutional frameworks and specialized jargon. Historically, the raw, sung poetry of Greek myths was eventually expanded into the formal, highly structured study of metaphysics. In the modern era, Zen poetry and bodily intuition were translated into the clinical study of interoceptive accuracy, the objective ability to detect internal physiological signals, and meticulously mapped via neuroimaging. Finally, we reach step 4, redistributed narrative. The original truth is repackaged with the armor of institutional authority and sold back to the public. Those once poetic truths are now delivered to us as peer-reviewed papers, clinical therapy protocols, and corporate wellness slide decks. The ultimate irony of this entire cycle is that we are taught to passively consume these academic products, entirely unaware that we are simply buying back our own metabolized wisdom. This integrated, body-first way of understanding the world is called relational epistemology. Knowing through embodied participation is humanity's historical baseline, but the Cartesian split, separating rational mind from physical form, was an anomaly. It blinded us to the intelligence constantly processed by our nervous systems. Today, digital culture is actively bypassing traditional institutions to excavate and return to this way of knowing. This 4-step sequence functions as a predictive tool. Whenever you encounter a cryptic, body-level truth that intuitively feels right, watch for the analytic machine to start grinding. It will inevitably formalize that idea years later. The next time a somatic feeling resonates with your community, you don't need to wait for a peer-reviewed paper to validate your experience. The Academy is merely a delayed scribe taking notes. Our modern scientific breakthroughs are simply the latest verses in a very old song.